What is up, everybody? This is the Wild Nutrition Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Heskett, and this is episode 54, and it is another Unapologetic Friday. And I just dropped my notes on the floor. So, with that being said, happy fucking Friday. We have a 21-day challenge getting kicked off on Sunday, officially starting on Monday. Now, at the time of this recording, there are 3 spots left for the challenge. So if you're listening, make sure to go click that and join. The link will be closed if you can't. So if you're like, I want to, but I don't know if it's open, just click the link. If it's closed, then you can't sign up. It's too late. But there's 3 spots left, so make sure you go and do that real quick if you're interested. And that being said, we're going to get this episode kicked off. So if this is your first Unapologetic Friday, just realize that there's going to be a lot of cursing. This is unedited, unfiltered, and I just go for about 15 minutes. And we're going to get the timer set, and I'm going to curse a bunch. So if you're listening in the car with kids, probably want to turn that off and go to one of the Monday episodes. All right, let's get it going. So today's topic is 3 things holding you back from reaching your goals. And these are not going to be fitness or nutrition tips. Not at all. This is going to deal with your mindset, because at the end of the day, basic fitness and nutrition is pretty easy. For most people, you just need to, the cliche, eat less, move more. It's more like eat more protein and veggies, eat less processed stuff, and then just start like any movement. There's the big secret for most people. And then once you can do that, then it's like the next level's like actually getting workouts in, getting a little bit more specific with your diet. But it's more like climbing up a pyramid, and there's multiple levels rather than just like you need the perfect plan right off the bat. So the 3 things holding you back from getting the results you want and the results you deserve. So number 1 is playing the comparison game. This will absolutely destroy your results. The comparison game is the worst thing anyone can do with anything in their life, because your journey is your journey and is not going to look like anyone else's journey. Your journey, whether it's weight loss, fitness, nutrition, etc., is going to be completely different than someone else's. So, for example, I've worked with a client who he lost over 100 pounds in a year, and people would rush to me and they're like, how do you do that? Like, cool. He was willing to basically upend his life. He stopped going out. He gave up drinking. He meal prepped everything and got to the gym 6 days a week. They're like, I can't do that. Like, yeah. So if you're unwilling to like give up your social life, your journey's not going to look like that. You're going to have to do some different things, and maybe not expect 100 pounds of weight loss in a year. It might take you 2 years, but at the end of the day, the result would be the same. You lost 200 pounds. It just took you longer. Same thing. We'll see people lose 40 pounds in 2 months. Awesome. I just had a client this week. He hit a 40-pound weight loss. It took him a year and a half. Well, what's the difference other than time? But everyone's so caught up in like, it should only take 30 days. It should only take 90 days. It should only take this much time. Like, no, the fuck it doesn't. Your journey is going to be different. You might lose weight really slowly, but if you're moving closer to your goal, you're moving 100% faster than that person's like, it's not even worth trying. So the comparison game, just realize if you are moving closer to your goal, that is great. And a lot of times when we try to speed things up, so I've had clients in the past do this, they were getting great results, and but they want to speed things up because, and I've done this myself, because for whatever fucking reason, you're like, if a little's good, more is better, right? And the fuck it is. It's the worst thing you can do. And usually what happens is you get like a week of great results, and then you fuck it all up, and you just stall out after that. Like, oh, well, I lost 5 pounds this week, and then it's like the next 8 weeks, you lose nothing. And so this goes back to, I did this with testing out SARMs back in like, was it 2018 or 2019? I did like 90 days of like a really low dose, and it's super fucking frustrating. So this can be weight loss. This can be building muscle. So basically what happened, if you don't know, they're not steroids or anything, but they are performance enhancers. So I tested it out as they're very, very weak, but they do work. So it was kind of like I had great results, but then after I got off of them, because I just tested them out for 90 days, It was like 6 months of stagnation. Like I got 6 months of results, and then the next 6 months was just stagnant. And the problem is if you're not a person who's willing to commit to that stagnation is where you give up. And you've probably realized this. You've like done something and then all of a sudden you stagnate and you're like, fuck, it's not worth it. Why even bother? I'm giving up. And that's where you end up losing. You end up not doing well. If you just stuck with it, you'd be fine. And this goes back to identity, which we've talked about. Go back to episode 45 with Gerald Hamilton if you're dealing with self-sabotage and identity. But if you're not identifying as someone who's fit and healthy and that ideal version of you want to become, if you are viewing yourself as I'm fat, I'm unworthy, I'm lazy, then what do lazy people do? What do fat people do when things get hard? They give up. And if that's you, well, we need to change that identity of how you view yourself. This doesn't mean like, well, I don't want a six-pack. We're not talking about that. It's the self-talk you have. I'm a lazy person. Like I'll get a DM with someone and like, I'm lazy. Like, so what do lazy people do? They don't work hard. So guess what you're never going to do if you tell yourself you're lazy every fucking day. And Monday's podcast is going to be great because the coach on that podcast, make sure you listen, but he said like, if you had a son or daughter and they had the same self-talk you do, wouldn't you be concerned? And for a lot of you listening, that should be a fuck yes. Like if they came out and said the things that go in your head, would you just like absolutely break down in tears? Well, if you're saying those things to yourself, you need to fucking change that because that's a problem. Because that, if you have a son or daughter, that energy is going over to them, but also you just have to realize like how fucking bad that is. So comparison game, don't play it. Your journey is your journey. Focus on you. Stick with the course. It is difficult. I do it. My coach tells me not to do it with other businesses. I do it. I say, why the fuck are these people having more success? And then at the same time, like things will pop up. And what you don't realize is behind the scenes, there's so many struggles and businesses I thought were doing amazing. They're like, yeah, we brought in all this money and then the expenses also went up at the same rate. So we're not actually making any more money. It's like, oh, okay. So it's not as good as you thought. So same thing goes like, okay, this person lost all this weight. They're like, I'm fucking miserable. My hair's falling out. My libido's crashed. My husband hates me because I want nothing to do in the bedroom and I'm moody all the time. So we're fighting and my marriage is down in the dumps. And you're like, oh, but they lost so much weight and they look amazing. It's like, yeah, and behind closed doors, it's ruining their life. So that's shit you don't always see. So focus on you. And then that's number one. Number two is not taking any action. Like you're always in research mode. I'm doing my research on what the next best diet is. I can tell you right now, if you're saying this, that's some bullshit. You just need to start taking action. Because the best way to learn and do your own research is actually taking action and not like reading another fucking article, not watching another fucking reel or YouTube video or listening to another podcast, including this one. You need to take some sort of action towards your goal. If you're just sitting around willy-nilly like, oh, it must be nice, I wish, like fuck off, go take action. Just do something. And this doesn't need to be perfect. I had a few clients this week where I had to go over this in their check-ins where they're kind of in a slump. I'm like, okay, so to get over your slumps are normal. Lack of motivation is normal. But to get back on track, well, you don't have to do everything because a lot of times we'll fall off track and we think like, oh, to get back on track, like there's so much fucking work. It's like, no, you know what you need to do is just like get the ball rolling and you just have to do that little push down the hill. And guess what? Everything will actually end up catching up down the road. So instead of trying to do everything on Monday, maybe you just like get your steps in. Maybe you just track your diet again. Maybe you just eat protein at each meal. Maybe you get your workout started again. And then Tuesday, you add a little bit more. And then you realize you feel good, so you want to eat well when you work out, so you eat better on Wednesday. And then you're realizing you're tired, so you go to bed earlier, get more sleep, and you wake up Friday more energized. And you see how this kind of rolls in just 1 week. Now multiply that over a month or 2 months. And this is where you get that snowball effect of it actually improving your life instead of like willy-nilly, like, well, if I can't get the perfect diet, I'm not even going to bother working out. If I can't work out, I'm not even going to bother dieting. By the way, that's stupid because diet's number one key for overall weight loss. If I can't do X, I'm not going to do anything. Like, no, if you can't do that, maybe we start with this thing, get the ball rolling, and move on. And this will be people who are like, I just don't have the energy for it. Guess what? If you don't have the energy for it now, your energy's only going to get lower and lower and lower. And I'm not saying this with when it comes to certain events in your life that are temporary, where sometimes you have to back off. That happens. But I am saying this in general. Like, if you're saying this and you're just like, I don't have the energy to do it. Like, fuck. The only way to get more energy is to actually recharge yourself, which is actually taking care of yourself. And that's going to be getting exercise in and eating well and getting good quality sleep and not going out on the weekends and getting fucking drunk. Like, that's how you get more energy. But if you're not willing to do that, why the fuck would you think that you're going to get more energy? And so you're in this vicious circle of like, your energy is only going to go down. So unless you do something today to take action, your energy is only going to get less. Like, it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's not going to stay the same even. It's only going to get worse. Because I've said this many times on the podcast. There's no pause button with your body other than daily action. Like, the pause button to keep your energy level the same, to kind of slow down aging, all that stuff is exercise and good nutrition and sleep and stress management. If you're not doing those things, you're not pressing the pause button. It's not a remote where you can just press the pause button and pause the movie. No, like, time keeps moving. And if you're not actively working on those things, you're sliding backwards. You're getting less energy each day. You're losing muscle mass each day. Your health is declining each day. All these things are happening each and every single day unless you start taking action. Now, the reverse can happen, and you can start taking action literally right the fuck now. Just declare something that you're going to do today and then actually fucking do it. You can message me if you need extra accountability. Go ahead, do it. If you need that, send me a fucking message. But take that action, and the reverse will happen. You'll start getting more energy. Your health will start improving. You'll have more confidence. And then down the road, it's totally different. So that's number 2. And number 3 is not investing in yourself. Not actually taking time to invest in your health, in your fitness, etc. And yes, I'm a coach. So yeah, is it a little bit of a shameless plug? Sure. But we also have a free fucking challenge going on. So you could just do it that way. But I have someone on the email list where she reached out. I did a message and she messaged me again. She's like, are you still trying to lose weight? And she's like, yes, but I'm trying not to pay for anything. Now, going back to not taking action, she hasn't taken action in a year. Literally, she's been complaining to me almost a couple times a quarter, I would say. Not every single week, not every month, but a couple times a quarter, she'll send me messages like complaining, but hasn't done anything, refuses to pay for anything because she's invested in scams like Optavia and Isogenics and believes because she spent money, and this is a fallacy, because I spent money, I should know what the fuck I should be doing. Wrong. If you spent money on bullshit, which is Optavia, Isogenics, and those kinds of programs, then all the information you have is bullshit. It doesn't work. The reason for that, and again, this actually goes to Monday's podcast, and I love the way he said this, so stay tuned for Monday. So those programs, those fake coaches, if snap the fingers and you're doing the program, snap the finger and they disappeared, Optavia, Weight Watchers, Isogenics, they just disappeared tomorrow, you wouldn't know how the fuck to do it on your own. You wouldn't feel confident to do it on your own. Like maybe like for a day or two, but as soon as things got challenging, you wouldn't know what the fuck to do. Meanwhile, if I disappeared, I know with my clients, the ones who have been with us for at least 90 days would know exactly how to continue moving forward with all the information we've given them. So that's the difference of someone like myself and other great coaches versus bullshit programs and coaches. But that goes to not investing either time or money. Those are the two investments you have, or services. You can always do a service exchange, but basically for most people, it's going to be time or money. So you can get the same education I have with nutrition. It's going to take you about 15 years to get that education at least, but you can go to Precision Nutrition. You can go to Nutrition Coaching Institute, take all their certifications, spend, a couple $1,000s on those. That would be great. You can go and do that, and you would have the same level of knowledge I do with nutrition. Can you get this for free online? Sorta. The problem with getting it online is you're also going to have to sift through all the bullshit. What's right? What's wrong? What is not relevant to you right now? What's going to be relevant in the future? And there's going to be a lot of very confusing things, which is where people get hung up on nutrition and fitness, and they're not sure what to do. When you invest in someone, you get a clear plan. Like, we always map out what a client journey should look like for each of our clients. When Lauren and I talk about when we onboard a client, like, here's kind of what this client's journey is going to look like on paper, ideally. But the other thing comes, it's like, well, it costs money. And if you have a shitty relationship with money, you kind of view this thing as like not like it's just not available. Like, money's fucking everywhere. You just have to find it. And what's money good for? Like, think about that for a second. What is money good for? You can either spend it on more bullshit, which I see a bunch of you do on social media. Like, cool. Like, why are you spending all this money on this kind of stuff that's not helping improve your life? It's just like more hobby stuff of stuff you don't need. And look, I'm guilty of it too. But if you're saying, I don't have the money to invest in something I know is very important to me, and I need to make a change now, or my health is going to decline, or I'm going to fucking die. Like, I am killing myself faster by not doing this, and I need that help, but I can't afford it. Like, that's a problem. So what's money good for? It's good for helping improve your life, to get things from other people that can make a difference in your life. And a lot of people just automatically assume I don't have the money for it. So let's do a real quick exercise of someone that I convinced into coaching. I shouldn't say convinced, but through this exercise, I convinced them that they had enough money. And it's, let's take automatically it was like, well, I can't sign up for coaching because I know my grocery bill is also going to go up. Like, okay, let's do the quick exercise. You know you need to stop eating out, correct? Yeah. Okay, so how often per week do you eat out? She's like, I go out every single week with my friends, and I order DoorDash a couple times a week for lunches and dinners. Like, okay, how much do you spend on average with each one? It's like, well, DoorDash, it's going to be anywhere between $15 and $30. Like, cool. So we're going to go with $20 as a bare minimum. So let's say that's 4 times a week. That's $80 a week. Times 4, so 4 weeks in a month, that's $320, not including going out every single week with your friends where you're getting 2 $15 martinis. So that's $30 there, not including tip or anything, times 4, that's $120, plus the $320, that's $440. And then you have to add the dinner when you go out to dinner. Let's just say that's $25. That's another $100 for the week. That's $540. Look, we're not going to cut this completely out, but it's going to have to get cut back. One, you're not going to be able to get your result. So during this time, you're going to have to cut back. Now, it's temporary. Obviously, it's very important to have that healthy social relationships with people, but it's going to need to cut back to help you get your result first. And then in the future, we're going to teach you how to maintain your weight and everything going forward. So let's just say we cut it back in half. That would be $270 right there. Like, oh, okay. Like, okay. So that's just half that you just saved me right there. Yeah. We're going to need to switch from doing DoorDash to eating actual healthy meals of a lot of that food that you're throwing out each week. So we're just going to meal prep, and we're going to do these things, and we're going to teach you how to do it. Like, oh, okay. So coaching is going to be less than that. So I think you can afford it. Oh, okay. Shit. So that's one way that a lot of people are like, oh, I automatically assume. And also realizing that if you want something, sometimes you have to make sacrifices for it. And it's temporary. It's one of those things that it sucks. Now, I've spent about 50 grand or more in coaching. My average coaching cost is about, I think it's, what is it? It's about $2,500 per month for my business coach. So if you're like, oh, you're just saying this because, no, I truly believe in coaching and it's going to accelerate things. It's going to make things faster for you. If you're struggling and you've been struggling, well, that's the next step for you. If you need to do this, this is how you're going to get results. It's going to be expensive. Now, I have a business coach. It does not cost that much for my program. It is not 30 grand for the year. But that is an example of where people will be like, oh, coaches aren't worth that. Like, you have no idea how much money people spend for coaches. If you look up the Hormozis, which my business coach is with, they're $1 million a year to work with. Like, it's like $1.1 million to have them as a coach. So, yeah, good coaches are expensive too. If you're going to budget shop, you get what you pay for. So remember that as well. So you want to reach out and have a good quality coach. And when you're going to actually get good results, if you're like, oh, it's going to be $100 a month, that was back in like 2009, guys. Like, coaching industry, unfortunately, it's not going to cost that much. Like, I wish it did. I wish my business coach cost that much, but that's just reality of things. Like, everything's more expensive. You're going to have to figure things out, but you have to invest in yourself. And we just talked money. I know that's super uncomfortable, but the other way is time. Unfortunately, you don't get time back, but if you don't have the time to sit down and figure things out, like if you're in your early 20s or your teens and you're listening, like, that was me. I had the time. You know what I don't have now? Time. You know what I don't want to do at 7 o'clock is spend time learning about coaching. I'd rather be outside with my daughter. And you know what? Then it's 9 o'clock by the time she's in bed and dishes are cleaned up and all that shit. And like, I get a workout in, and you know what? Sure. Late at night, I could be learning. Instead, I hired a coach and I don't have to worry about that. They're going to teach me what I need to know, when I need to know, hold me accountable, tell me exactly what direction I need to go. And I do 3 calls a week with them and get exactly what I need. So I would rather do that than waste a whole bunch of time learning about bullshit that I don't need to know. Anyways, those are the 3 things. It is going to be playing the comparison game. Don't fucking do it. Not taking action and not investing. Those are the 3 things. You'll want something in life. You got to have all 3. You're not going to play that comparison game. You're going to take some action, and you're going to learn what you need to do to invest in yourself. Again, it's an investment, not an expense. It's going to pay off over time because the medical bills are going to be lower when it comes to weight loss and health. Like, okay, like the medical bills and quality of life are going to be way, way better than if you just wait till later on. But those are the 3 things. And you want to get the number 2 and number 3 going right now. Sign up for the 21-day challenge. That info is down in the show notes. It is free. There's only a few spots left, and the winner gets $500. So there you go. That is what you need to do right now. So happy fucking Friday, guys. Hope you enjoy the weekend. Go kill it out there. And as always, please give a 5-star review as well to the show to help other people find it.